All right, so today we're going to practice using so, to, either, and neither. We're going to practice using these. I'm going to tell you what they mean in different situations. So let's first go over the pronunciation of these. And this one I won't go over, so and also to, pretty easy. So and to is the same as TWO and TO, same pronunciation. And again, pronunciation just means how to say something, So I just want to go over these really quickly. These actually have two correct pronunciations. And that's pretty common in English. You'll have a word that people can say one way or another way. Sometimes it's because it's an American or British pronunciation. One is American, one is British. Or sometimes it's not that clear. Sometimes there are just two correct pronunciations. Like usually. Usually can be said as a four-syllable word. 4 syllables. Syllable is a beat in a word. Usually, 4-syllable word. Or it can be said as usually. Usually. So it can also be said as a 3-syllable word. And both are correct. They are both correct. So this one you can say as either or either. So as this sound, E, or as this sound, I. Either or either. And this one is actually the same. You can say it as neither or neither. So it's the same. E, neither, or I, neither. Okay? So you choose which one you like. I usually say either here and neither here. I don't know why, but I just do. All right, so let's practice using some of these. And we're going to be using these to make agreement. Agreement means you have the same idea, you have the same opinion as another person, okay? So, here's a sentence. I liked playing with Legos when I was a little boy. Legos is the name of a brand of toy. They're toy blocks that you use to build, and it's a very common children's toy. They are multicolored. Multi means more than one. So there are many different colors in the toy blocks called Legos. Okay, so I liked playing with Legos when I was a little boy. Now, if we use so should be at the beginning, and it means I agree, but I agree about what? Well, I agree about my experience. My experience is the same as yours. My experience agrees with your experience. So, what should we say? Should we say, so am I? No, because here we have an action, play, right? So if we want to agree with the action or the verb of play, we have to use do. But because it's in the past, we need to say did. So did I. So there are two people here. One person says, I liked playing with Legos when I was a little boy. Another one is, so did I. That means, I also did. You could say that. I did also. That's okay, but this is really not very common. This is more common. So did I. So did I. Okay, let's try another example. I'm going to Canada on Friday. Now, the other person has the same experience. They will go also, right? So their experience agrees. But should we say now, so do I? No, that's not right. We are using this verb now, to be. To be. I am, right? I am going to Canada. I means I am. I means I am. So we can say, so am I. So am I. Okay, that means I am doing the same thing as you. Okay, I like this music. Now, should we say so am I or so do I? So am I or so do I? Well, it has to agree with the verb here. We have like and no am, no to be verb. So we say so do I. So do I. Or we could say I do too. I do too. It's the same meaning as I do also. I do too, I do also. Same thing. So do I do too, I do also. Same. This one is not common. These two are about the same. Okay, so you can say both of these. If we go back to our example of Canada, we would say I am too. I am too. I'm going to Canada on Friday. I am too. Okay? What if it's something negative? I hate this. I hate this. Again, I do too. I do too. Or so do I. We still say do here. We don't say didn't or do not because it's a simple verb. Hate. Hate means you really don't like something. You really don't like something. So we just say it like this, okay? Now to all of these, we could just say me too. And this is the simplest. This is the absolute simplest one. Now, do we need to change this in any way to say do or am? No, it's always the same. I liked playing with Legos when I was a little boy. Me too. I'm going to Canada on Friday. Me too. I like this music. Me too. I hate this. Me too. Me too works for all. So if you don't want to figure out, which verb to use, am or do or did, then we can just say me too. And you don't need to think about it. This one is probably the most common, okay? So just to review really quickly, so do I do too, or I did too, or so did I, or me too. Okay? These are the most common to agree with something. However, if there is a negative in the original sentence, if there is a negative verb in the original sentence, then it changes. I don't, and don't is a contraction. You probably know that, of do not. I do not or don't want to stay here anymore. I don't want to stay here anymore. That means I want to leave. I want to leave. Same meaning, right? Well, if we want to agree with this one, because we have do not, we cannot use to anymore. We can't say I don't to. We cannot say I don't to. To only works for something that is a simple verb and does not have a negative here, right? Not. It cannot include not. It cannot include not. So we can say I don't either or either. I don't either. I don't want to stay here anymore. I don't either. What about this one? I want to leave. Same meaning, right? Should we say I don't either? No, that doesn't make sense. This is a simple verb. There is no not here. So we can just say me too. I want to leave. Me too. I don't want to stay here anymore. I don't either or either. Okay? Let's do another example. I haven't been there. Or we could say someplace. Let's say to Canada. I haven't been to Canada. Well, should we say I I don't either, like we did last time? No, because we have here. Have is the verb. We need to agree with this. We can say, I haven't either. I haven't either. It needs to agree. Okay? Here's some more sentences to use this. I haven't seen it. I haven't either. I won't do it. I won't either. Okay? So pretty simple. Pretty simple. But we can also use me here and again make it even more simple, make it even more easy. How do we do that? Do we say me too? No, we cannot say me too. What should we say? I haven't been to Canada. Me neither. Not either. You cannot use either here. You have to use neither or neither. Okay? Me neither. I won't do it. Me neither. It's the same. It never changes. So this one, again, is very easy. Okay? Again, it is very easy. So remember, when you're agreeing, sometimes you need to think about what verb was used. For example, if you use have not or haven't, you need to use that when you say either. Right? I haven't either. And it's the same for a positive. If we say I like something, we can say I do too. Or I am something, I am too. I'm hungry. So am I. Or I am too. Or if we don't want to change it, just me too. Me too. Okay. Got it? So let's do a little bit more about agreement. Okay? Let me write a simple question. Actually, it's not very simple. Do you think we live in a strange period of human history? So this is a question. Now, we could just say simply yes, no, to agree or disagree. And we know how to do that. But this question it's not a very simple question, right? If somebody says, do you like ice cream? Well, we could just say yes or no, or I like it, or I don't like it. But if it's a question that's a little bit more complicated, giving a yes-no answer is not so good. Usually you want to give another kind of answer to agree, yeah, to agree all right, but not so yes, no, not so simplistic, not so strong. We could say that yes and no are very strong answers. And even if we do want to give a very strong answer, saying other words is sometimes better than simply saying yes to make it sound even stronger if we really agree. For example, do you think we live in a strange period of human history? Maybe you could say, I'd say so. Instead of saying, yes, we do, I'd say so means it's kind of your opinion, but maybe you haven't carefully thought about it. If you say, yes, we do, then it makes you seem like you're very certain of your opinion. But if you say, I'd say so, that means it's not so certain. Maybe you haven't thought about it a lot, okay? If we really agree and we want to make that really strong, we can say definitely. Definitely. Oops. Definitely. That means very yes. Very yes. If you think that it's not so simple to agree or disagree, and you think in some ways yes, in some ways no, you can say yes and no. Yes and no. This can be your answer. Do you think we live in a strange period of human history? Maybe you add, well, yes and no. So after this, then you can say why you have this opinion. Why yes and why no. You should probably explain the reason, okay? Now, sometimes if we really agree with something, people will say, I couldn't agree more. Well, this is okay. but only if somebody makes a statement. It doesn't work in this situation. Do you think we live in a strange period of human history? Yes, definitely. Well, yes and no. I couldn't agree more. This one doesn't work. If somebody says, I think we live in a strange period of human history, then you can say, I couldn't agree more. However, this sentence has become very commonly used in China. We can consider it a kind of Chinglish now. It's actually not often used in common everyday English, right? Now, you can do it sometimes, but just be careful about doing it too much. If you use this, I couldn't agree more, all the time, people will know, you don't really know how to use this. Okay, so saying the same thing in every situation where you agree is really not very good. Okay, so let me give you another sentence. This coffee is fantastic. We could say, I couldn't agree more. That means very yes, right? I agree very much. But means I agree very much. But again, it's a little bit now a Chinglish phrase, and so I would avoid using it. Okay, so you could say definitely. I always misspell that. You could say definitely. You could say for sure. For sure. That means very yes. Very yes is not correct, by the way. You can't say very yes. I'm just using that as a way to explain the meaning. Okay, very yes, for sure. Yeah, it's great. So you can add something else to your sentence. Yeah, it's great. It means I agree, but it's not quite so strong, okay? It's not quite so strong. Let's go back to my original question. Do you think we live in a strange period of human history? Well, if we want to disagree with this, how can we do that? Sometimes we don't want to completely disagree. We just kind of disagree. I wouldn't say strange, but it's certainly different than any other period. So this is when you want to kind of half disagree. You don't totally disagree, but it's not exactly what you said here. It's not strange. Maybe another word can explain it. Or I wouldn't quite put it that way. But, and then say maybe this, the same thing. Or again, terrible isn't the word I would use. Emphasize I. Terrible, sorry, I've changed it again. Strange isn't the word I would use. So that means maybe you can think of another adjective that can describe this. Maybe this word doesn't quite fit. You think another word fits better. You kind of agree, you kind of disagree. Your opinion is just a little bit different than the person who said that. A little bit different than my opinion, this opinion, right? So when you're agreeing, remember how to use to, how to use so. Remember, you have to consider the verb sometimes, but not with me. Me, you don't need to consider it. Just me neither or me too. Okay? So it's pretty easy, but always try to keep it in your mind. Make it automatic. Automatic means you just do it. You just do it, but you don't think about it too much. And how to make it automatic? Well, you can just practice a lot. Write a lot, read a lot, speak a lot. Okay? Ask me questions on WeChat if you have them, and I will see you next time.